Hello SLS 1101 students, and welcome to your Module 4 Assignment 2 walkthrough video related to the assignment Making an Informed Career Decision Discussion Board. This is your second discussion board assignment of the class. It will also be your final discussion board assignment of the class, so let's have a look at what it entails. The introduction. Now that you have completed some research into your possible future career and its associated college majors, we did that back in Module 4 Assignment 1, it's about time to select one of the three options to focus on more specifically, keeping in mind your capstone project, the career presentation. An informed career decision draws on your self-knowledge, personality preferences, values, and strengths, and also considers external factors such as job salary, and career growth. So on the previous module, we went through and did our top three career choices, and for this assignment we're going to make the decision to narrow that down to one choice and then further examine the elements related to that choice. So that being said, directions. Write a reflection applying some aspects of the decision-making process. That goes back to Module 3 whenever we had the problem-solving and decision-making process to your career and educational goals, addressing the questions below. Your responses should include evidence of completing the study activities. That's maybe the most important thing we've read so far in these instructions. You need to reference the study activities in your writing to prove that correlation between the knowledge you're gaining from the class and the decisions you're making going forward. So when at all possible, be sure to reference your responses back to the study activities to give them a more defined quality in your answers, and also provide sufficient descriptions, explanations, and examples to reflecting your career decision. So let's go further. This is where you will begin your work in responding to these questions to earn your points for this assignment, starting with defining the decision. So your assignment will start with this part right here, defining the decision. You're going to identify the career you have selected to investigate further in your career presentation and or define the need to make a decision. So going back to the previous assignment, you had three careers that you were highlighting. The first thing you're going to do in this assignment is define the one career that you're going to go forward with for the rest of this class. Not only in this assignment, your discussion post, but moving forward into your capstone project, which will be the career presentation, which we'll be moving to at the end of the class, but beginning on actually quite shortly. So first, define that decision. That will be the beginning of your assignment. After you define that one decision of what that profession is going to look like for you, move on and answer the following four questions, which goes with examine needs and motives. Let's have a look at that. Label your response. Question 1 here, what are your needs with regards to a future career, and how are your values and goals represented in those needs? So connect those two ideas, not just your specific needs, but also how it reflects your values and your goals, items that we talked about in Modules 1 and Modules 2 of this class. Tie it all back together now into the new elements that we're introducing into the class related to profession. Answer your question there, label the next part of your response, question 2, and move on to the following. What are the most important factors for you when considering a career choice? State the top 3 most important factors in making a career decision using ideas outlined in the Module 4 Study Activity 2, Factors Affecting Career Decision Making, and explain why these are the most important factors. So there's a lot going on with that question. Be sure you address everything that's being asked, and most importantly, be sure that you're referencing the study activity M4A2 in your response. So again, you're making that connection between your own personal philosophies tied in with the structures and the elements proposed to you in the class. So make that connection and highlight it in your response for part 2 here. Part 3 is a little more open-ended on your part. Part 3, what roadblocks may you encounter in pursuit of this career? This kind of goes back to your very first assignment in the course, where you're identifying potential issues before they arise so that you go into them with a full head of steam, knowing that you've outlined the various avenues you can take to resolve these potential problems. So think back to your very first assignment when you were preparing for a college level class. We addressed possible issues that you might have in that class, difficulties, and we also put in small plans into place that if those problems arose, you would know how to overcome them. So be thinking about that as well on question 3 here pertaining to your roadblocks. Moving on to part 4 of the assignment, what additional information would make you more confident that this occupation is right for you. So additional things that you don't know yet, but you'd like to research more before your career presentation to be sure that this is the career that you want to go forward with, not only with your college classes, but possibly for the rest of your life, looking down the road of that occupation. So what's the additional information that you don't know yet that you're going to find out in the future to make sure that this is the most valid possible career for you moving forward? So answer those 4 questions. They're pretty self-explanatory, but be sure you highlight each of the required elements from each question. For example, part 2 here asks several things, so be sure to read that one carefully and make sure you're checking all your boxes there whenever you are responding to that question. Moving down to a part that some students forgot on the first discussion post, replying to a peer. It's worth 5 points this time, so be sure that once you submit your discussion that you check out some of your fellow classmates' discussions and give at least one meaningful response to a fellow classmate. So replying to a peer, demonstrating the ability to analyze or synthesize the other student's work and or ask meaningful extending questions to elicit responses and reflections from other learners in an effort to take the discussion deeper. So keep all that in mind. Try to have a meaningful response there so that it can be counted for the full 5 points on this assignment. Speaking of the point values, you have a rubric here that is listed below. Let's have a look at the rubric together. Here it is. Go down the expert critical thinking column here and make sure that you're hitting all your marks to max out on points. It starts with defining the decision. That's where you demonstrate the knowledge of the future career that you would like to pursue. You identify that and define it here for 2 points. These are your needs and your motives reflected to the values and goals. So go back to that first question that you're answering. Be sure you've got your 3 points here for this one. The next section is worth 5 points, and this is where it's especially important that you're using your study activities to reference your answers so you get the full credit for this point, the full 5 points. Moving down now, identify and describe the roadblocks. Those are the things that you're looking forward in the future, pitfalls you could see yourself walking into that you're going to try to avoid, but identifying them ahead of the time. Clearly and describe those comprehensively, all relevant information necessary. So go into full detail here versus a partial answer here for 3 points. Analyze the potential resources and make a decision. Making a decision, have a look at this one. Identify all of those resources that you would like to gather the information to make sure this is the appropriate career fit for you. Have a look there. And then don't forget, for 5 points, you're also going to want to reply to a peer. That will max out credits there. Make sure that you have that meaningful response there to earn the full 5 points. And then let's bounce back to your assignment for just one moment to have a look at the mentioned study activity. It's Module 4, Study Activity 2. If you click it here, it will bring it to you automatically. By having a look at all the study activities for Module 4, we used the majority of these for our previous assignment, Module 4, Assignment 1. Not to say you couldn't re-reference the majority of these in this assignment as well, but specifically this one here, the M4 Study Activity 2, that's the one that you need to be referencing for full credit on that component of your assignment. It will look something like this. Have a look, read through, consider this a element of a lecture style report for the class. Read through the lines there, and if you have any questions, be sure to reach out. Otherwise, let's have a look at how to submit your work once you're done. You will have defined your decision. You will have clearly organized your responses so they are listed as response 1, response 2, response 3, and 4, so your instructors know where you are at in your submission, and it makes your work easier to grade and more organized. Once you've done all that, you're going to save your work and upload it or paste it into a discussion board by clicking the link here, M4A2. You are going to create a new thread. When you create your thread, you will come down, give your thread a subject line, and you will paste all of your responses here into the message component of the discussion board. And then once you have done that, you will submit. It will post it to the discussion board, and then once you reply to a peer's response, you will be all set for Module 4, Assignment 2. So have a look at that assignment. If you have questions, reach out early. Otherwise, have a great week, and I hope you're enjoying the class. Thanks.